On April 25, 1997, the people of Los Angeles felt the ground shake beneath their feet that a 4.9 magnitude earthquake rattled windows, swayed trees, and sent residents scrambling for cover. A few minor injuries were reported, mostly from falling objects and fender benders, but nothing too serious. For Angelenos, this was practically routine. Los Angeles sits in one of the most seismically active states in the country. California records roughly 10,000 earthquakes every year, second only to Alaska. Most of them go completely unnoticed, but every so often, a significant tremor reminds the city just how alive the ground beneath it truly is. The city is built on a deep sedimentary basin, a geological quirk that amplifies seismic waves. Locals often describe the sensation as standing inside a bowl of jello. Because of this, LA has some of the strictest building codes in the entire United States. So when that 4.9 hit on a bright April morning, most residents shrugged it off. Some construction workers nearby had even written software to bet on earthquake magnitudes. This was just another Tuesday, but this particular Tuesday was anything but ordinary. By late morning, something alarming happened near MacArthur Park. 7 city maintenance workers working underground suffered catastrophic burns. 6 of them didn't survive. The one worker who did was in critical condition and couldn't explain what had happened. Officials suspected a ruptured high-pressure steam pipe or a trapped steam pocket. Mike Rowe, director of the Office of Emergency Management, immediately pushed to close the park and cut off gas supplies, but he was overruled. Other officials weren't convinced. Warnings were raised, but ignored. Small aftershocks continued through the night. Then, at around 5 a.m. the following morning, everything changed. A massive earthquake struck, far beyond anything the city had seen. The ground shook violently. And then, something happened that no one had ever witnessed in a modern city. The La Brea tar pits exploded. Flames shot into the sky. Steam, hot gases, and molten rock burst from the earth. The tar pits, a famous research site, were made of natural crude oil deposits deep underground. Now that oil was on fire. Drain covers exploded into the air, buildings ignited, ash rained down, and then confirmation came in. A volcanic vent had opened right in the middle of the city. Los Angeles had a volcano, and it was erupting. Mike Rowe was driving nearby when it all began. He jumped out and started helping the injured. Then suddenly, a volcanic bomb, a burning mass of molten rock, crashed down and destroyed a fire engine. News cameras were already rolling. The footage went live. Panic spread. Looting began. The National Guard was deployed. Lava began flowing down Wilshire Boulevard, one of the most iconic streets in Los Angeles. Emergency crews built massive barriers. When the lava hit, they cooled it with water. And for a moment, it seemed like they had stopped it. The media called it a victory. They said the danger was over. They were wrong. The lava hadn't stopped. It had gone underground, moving through tunnels and drainage systems beneath the city. It was heading straight toward Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where hundreds of injured people were being treated. They had 30 minutes to evacuate everything. With no options left, they made a desperate plan: bring down a high-rise building to redirect the lava. Normally, this would take weeks. They did it in 19 minutes. Charges were placed. The countdown began, but 2 officers were still inside. They made the call not to stop the demolition. The building collapsed. The lava changed direction. The hospital was saved. Those 2 officers didn't make it out. The lava was finally redirected, flowing into the ocean and cooling. The crisis was over, but the cost was heavy. Lives were lost, the city was damaged, and the story became history. In the aftermath, Mike Rowe was criticized that he had spent most of the disaster in the field, risking his life, instead of coordinating from safety. His response, he said, he was on vacation. He later retired and disappeared from the spotlight, living a quiet life in Los Angeles. As for the volcano, It's still there, the cone, remains visible, with low-level activity. Even today, Los Angeles has survived earthquakes, floods, fires, but in 1997, it survived something that should have been impossible. A volcano, in the middle of the city, and somehow, the city kept going. If you found this story fascinating, hit subscribe, because this is just the beginning.